one. This is the Trax 83 or Delta 6, or depending on where you're watching. This is a reply to the current trainsim.com thread, where did all the servers go? I'm going to provide my 2 cents because I could write, but I have a lot of other stuff I really need to do right now, so I can't really write until, 4 or 5 hours from now. I'm going to give my 2 cents. My 2 cents is not something that a lot of other people hear, or necessarily a few people in this group want to hear about, but they're my experience. So I'm personally someone who's been hosting a Run8 server for exactly just over 2 years now. New Republic Railroad started as an emergency backup server for dams on April 23rd, 2015. And I've been running that server ever since. And for the longest time, I was running all 3 servers, all 3 routes, on the same computer at the same time. And this is a computer built in 2009. This thing is pretty dang old. And it ran them, and if the computer went to sleep, they'd crash. But I made sure that almost every single day for 24/7, that thing would run 3 servers, so people would have choice as I bought more routes. Thing is, we never really got to go on the map. This whole where did all the servers go thing, there's a lot of servers. I'm going to tell you guys that right now, but I guarantee you none of you will never ever hear them unless you join a certain group. And that's simply because our advertising reach just doesn't work. There's a lot of, the reason why you guys only see 3 to 4 24/7 servers on the Run8 Studios page has to do with the way that Run8 Studios thinks of the community. And that is wherein lies the problem. And why they still haven't figured it out, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Jason has. He even wrote at one point, Jason Webb wrote a thing on Hyrule Simulation saying, if you're hosting the A-line, send us a thing and we'll add it to this little list. And they've done that for a few servers. For a couple. It seems like he might have forgotten to add 1 or 2, and I'm honestly not sure why. Probably just because he's busy trucking all over the place. But I've been hosting my server for 2 years, and I can honestly say summer 2016 was the most people we'd ever had on, and most of those were all friends of friends and stuff. And there was a time where we had more than 20 people on. That doesn't happen anymore. It's just a few of us, and sometimes not even me. Sometimes it's a friend of mine that's a staff member, and that's it. And we'll get some work done on Selkirk, and that's really all that happens. I can only host 1 server now. That computer ran V1, 3 different V1 servers at the same time, but for V2 takes up so much RAM. If I open up a second copy of V2 and tried to host a server, the computer would probably blue screen from running out of memory. Actually, scratch that, it would, unless I left it on for 3 weeks and the RAM died down enough. I'm dedicated to hosting. Right now I have hosting issues where my server can't be on 24/7. On days when I'm when I'm currently not at the house for most of the day, I have to put it into sleep mode or someone in my family is going to turn it off. But I have it set to turn on automatically, wake and sleep automatically. I've dedicated myself to be able to make it so that people can join the NLR for Run8. And to quote Ezra's comment of it's all a click thing, I get that, but I also don't. My server has something that's a little bit of a click, but no one really even participates in except for me, which is it has a basic storyline that's like Equestria-based. Yeah, My Little Pony. You want to rant on me for that? Whatever. But how do I put this? How do I put this? You also notice my hair is back in a ponytail. That's why I look weird. But the storyline is optional. People don't have to participate in them. They can just go on and run trains how they want. And recently, in terms of AI, I think AI is a great advancement, but I think it's made people lazy in some ways in multiplayer. And as of like 2 days ago, I turned it off on my servers. I disabled AI permissions for clients. If you're one of the staff members and you've got a password, and Florida Southern does this too. If you're one of the staff members and you've got a password, you can turn AI on. Trains already on AI will still run, but the ability to turn the random AI spawn on and off, it was just getting too crazy on Selkirk, so I turned it off, because otherwise you'd come back and you'd have 46 trains you'd have to dispatch, and all of Selkirk would pretty much be shut down. The other problem is people just don't want to do certain jobs on a server. Working trim is essential to any route with a hump yard. If no one wants to work it, then that yard is going to get shut down. And I've had to do that in the past, where I've had to block users from being able to even bring a train into Selkirk and forcing them to hold it out on the main in a traffic jam until Selkirk has gotten cleared up enough. And no one wants to work trim. The one person I know that does want to work trim was part of a different group, and he doesn't even do Run8 anymore, so I don't even know where he is. But the problem has to do with how Run8 views servers. They only really list servers of people they are partners with, or people that they're buddy-buddy with. And John and Brad, Nigel, all of them, they can take this for what they will. This is just my opinion. And since Sean and Mark are now reading this forum again, and they didn't seem to be reading it for the longest time until my Valhalla Tower post, part of it does have to do a bit with the depot and highball. And Robert has asked me, why have you gone after us for this in the past? And part of it has to do with where highball stands and the connections highball has. From what I know from a lot of people, there's someone, the server host, original server host for highball is related to someone in Run8 Studios. And that could, come with some benefits, and obviously Robert is one of the beta testers, and a route builder. He says he's not, but believe me, there's plenty of data that says he is, including the web page. The problem is when the depot came out, and this was something that confused me, is apparently, from what I discovered from the owner of Dams from a while ago, they allowed people to promote their servers, but I'd heard otherwise back in 2015. Where you couldn't advertise on another server. And so when I created the NLR, I had a Facebook page for it. I had nowhere to go. I didn't have anywhere to advertise. I didn't even really know I could email Run8 Studios about it. When I created my server, there was nowhere for me to go. I couldn't advertise. I couldn't get anyone to join. It was impossible. It was just a server for me and my fellow staff member, and that was pretty much it for several months. We tried to be active and we tried to mention it, but you just couldn't. And then when the depot came on, that made things even harder because everyone had flocked there immediately. Before the group was even started, before the site was even really mentioned, there was 40, 50 people signed up, including the devs. Now that's where everyone goes to. And the thing is, there are no external links to other groups. And I know that that's Sean's policy. If that's the decision Sean made, that's fine. They can do what they want. But it does hurt the community. There's only one group that lists all the servers in the community right now, and the depot's not on that list for reasons I'm not going to get into, and Sean still has to discuss that with us. There's a group on Facebook known as the Run8 Community Server Group, and we've got a forum that's listed in my signature. You guys have seen Run8 Western. I'm not trying to advertise, I'm just trying to say that's linked to it. But it turns out since trainsim.com is more active, that forum might not be needed. I might eventually disable it and just continue posting here. And then highball came. Basically, the depot's policy was our media is all media for the depot. It's supposed to be related to the depot only. Okay, that's fine. Unfortunately, that meant not the mention of other servers, except for when it was convenient for them. And I'm not really sure why, Sean. If you're watching this, maybe you could respond on the trainsim.com forums as to why this happened. But all of a sudden, the highball was advertised by the depot staff, which seemed to go against their own rules, and I had no idea why. And then you had two big shot servers that didn't really allow advertising of any other server, unlike Dams, which did, apparently. And as a result, a lot of the little servers, or just even some of the bigger servers that really wanted to be well known, were struggling. They'd been removed from the site. From what I know from people in the past, there was groups, some groups shut down, but some just disappeared for no reason off the Run8 community page. I, over a year ago, shot John an email about mine, and I had never received one back, and I shot him one once again a while ago, and I got some response, but it wasn't about the server. My server, I've tried for a long time, never got added to the community server group, despite my efforts of actually contacting them the way you're supposed to. Florida Southern did the same thing, and they said from their email, it took them 4 months to get a reply to even get their site, to even get their server listed on Run8's site. 4 months. That's pretty insanely long for something that would only take about 5 minutes to edit on a web page. I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem right. The NLR has been... I'm going to admit, I made a rant video about this on YouTube. You guys don't really need to watch it. It's not relevant to this, really. I almost shut down the NLR months ago just because we weren't getting anyone. We were just... And Sean and I have discussed this at length about where this is going. And I'm not trying to bash any server, but the way in which the ecosystem and stigmas surrounding servers is right now is the reason there aren't a lot of servers you hear of. On the Run8 community server group on Facebook, we've got that's basically, we don't have a website, so that's our only way to do this. I'm not trying to advertise. The reason, it's an open group. You don't have to join. You can just you can just log onto it and click, and there's a text or PDF file we've created that's a list of all the available servers. And there's 10, 12 servers on that list. Servers you've never heard of, some of which you've heard of, like California, Michigan, and Florida. Sean's RTS is on there. Run8 Northeast, Colorado, Kansas, and Eastern Railroad that's doing preliminary Florida Southern Railroad, which was originally CC and ERR. What's another one that I'm trying to think of? NC and Southern, which is A-line prototypical. You see, the problem is when the depot was created and Highball was created, and a lot of our servers were kind of silenced in a way, just involuntarily, or inadvertently. I'm sorry, not involuntarily, inadvertently, because we're just all small people. A lot of us are just using our computers at home to do this. We're not like Highball or Depot where we can afford 3 extra computers in our house to host, 2 extra computers in our house to host 3 different servers for V2. A lot of us can't do that, and I know I can't afford that at all. As someone who's currently in college, and is also working a job as a dishwasher at a restaurant too, and basically trying to manage the two together, and still have some free time. I don't make a serious amount of money right now. I can't afford a new computer, not for a long, long time, not until it's way too late and everyone's moved on to the big 2 servers, which is unfortunately the stigma a lot of us in that group have felt. There's a lot, and I'm not trying to serious, but there's been a lot of displeasure towards both the ideas of Highball and especially the Depot on that group. And I wish it wasn't like that. I think Sean has seen something. In fact, Sean is actually on board with us now on the Run8 community server group. So I think things are starting to come together now. But the problem is, a lot of people, I think, are thinking about multiplayer servers the wrong way. Can there be cliques? Absolutely. I think Florida Southern kind of works that way, and it works out well for them. Mine was simply a 24/7 server where people could have fun. There was basic rules to keep things somewhat prototypical, keep it somewhat realistic, because it's a train simulator server after all, but it wasn't overly restrictive. And, that's what I've prided myself on, and I think several other servers have too. And there's people that are just trying to do them on just a single computer just for fun. And without the server-only mode thing from V2 as an option, it's kind of hard for some people because they have to leave the computer open as the player rather than having it be the server-only mode, which saved so much RAM compared to the method from people. Why that was removed, I don't know. I've dug through the code. I couldn't find any remains of it. Again, I couldn't really find anything in the V2 code except for hours of digging in certain spots. And Sean is right. You know, you don't need a lot of people to make a server great. You really don't. All it takes is friends, and that's how I started my group, and that's just my story. Then comes the idea of multiplayer sessions, and we've tried at the community server. We've tried multiple times to get people on, and we've tried several times because I am not on contact terms with the depot, especially just ask Sean about Delta 6. He'll tell you what happened. All right, in short, I'm banned. And I don't really remember why. I think mentioning my server name in a video that was on mine. Sean, you'll understand. I think you remember what happened. But anyways, as a result, I've had to have other people try to reach out to the depot. And we've tried to get them on board as well for sessions. I think we've tried to get Highball on as well. Basically, we've tried to have sessions for not just a specific group, but for the entire community was our goal. Again, I'm not trying to bash any servers. This is just my thought process and just how things have gone for me since I started playing Run8. This is just part of my story. But we tried for the longest time to get those sessions going. And the first one for Selkirk, we had about 12 people maybe, and 2 of them were people from the depot. And I can't remember if there was anyone from any other group. I think there were. Yes, there were. And there was people from many different groups running on there. And it was a blast. And that was at the very end of the year, December 28th. Then we had swapped over to one that was be more common for people, the West Coast, because anyone that owned the base V2 game could play in that one. And we had in total, plus two of which were people that were subscribers on my YouTube channel that hadn't really played Run8 much before, or rather Run8 modders that just wanted to have fun. We had about 20 to 21 people on there. That was one of the biggest community sessions we'd ever had. Then we tried another one later on that was another Selkirk one after the Selkirk update came out in March, and we got a maximum of 8 people, and that's including dispatchers and staff. So there weren't many trains running. And we want to do one for the A-line, but we're just not sure. The number of people that are going, some people agree playing single player. I think it's sometimes great. I have a friend that does mostly single player now, that used to do MP a lot. And he has his own world that he works all the time in the West Coast. And, you know, that's fine. But I think that, personally, I can't get into single player. After all the nightmares of doing single player in trains, just trying to get AI to work there, single player in Run8, I don't have as much time for that. That's so time consuming. And yeah, I just don't have the time. Others might. I don't know. So to answer the question, where did all the servers go? Well, they're basically forced to run in the shadows now. I don't know if the depot or highball or any of the call board, I don't know if that would make sense. I don't know. If the higher up servers, and again, that's not my word, that's just what a lot of other people have thought on the community server group, especially people that were removed from those groups for violations or one reason or another, or whatever. There's just been a lot of tension building in our groups. We want to bring the whole community together, but we also want to bring the whole community together in that it feels like there's choice. And right now, it doesn't feel like there's much choice. It really doesn't at all. And I wish it wasn't like that. But it's been like that for a long time, ever since dams sort of, died down around May 2015. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on the matter. I wish there was more unity, but what do you have? I don't know. Sean, maybe you could provide, Nolatron, maybe you could provide some input on this? I don't know. I think you and I are going to have very differing views on this in some ways, definitely, because of how your group is and how mine is. I know your guys' group was pretty successful, and I think a lot of people were jealous with that because, in fact, there was even a pie chart made at one point that showed one half of it was the Run8 community and one half was the depot that was being passed around via our staff. And some people were actually agreeing with that. And I don't want it to turn to something like that where it's like us versus, where it's like the community versus you guys. I don't want it to turn into that. I want us to all be united, but something needs to change, and we've been trying everything we can on our fronts. All the small server owners, we've been trying, but we can't compete with, how are we supposed to compete with a server that is, the rumors are that you guys are, the rumors are around Nolatron are that apparently your group is beta testing stuff for Run8 now, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's just the rumors going around. I don't know if people are trying to just do that to make you guys look bad, or I don't know what. But there's 2 servers that are essentially partners with Run8 in a way, where does that leave the rest of the community? I feel like that's some food for thought. I mean, again, this is just me. This is going to be an unpopular opinion on where I'm coming from with this. I know a lot of people like those groups, but take it from the perspective of someone that is a small-time server owner. And there's multiple other people that are struggling in the same way. In fact, struggling even harder because the NLR did actually do some pickup. There's some people that are struggling to get any members. And I feel for those people because that's how it felt for us, and that's how it feels for us now, just from my staff. And Florida Southern felt that in some ways. I mean, in some ways, the smaller groups are all struggling so much for just even a few users. It's caused tension between a lot of us. I remember there was a time when the NLR and TNP and Florida Southern, we were all kind of at each other's throats for a bit before, we kind of all came to the conclusion that we just need to do our own thing. We just need to, how things are going to go, we just got to go our own ways. And we just got to, wait it out until V2 came. And V2 changed some things and made certain things better in the community, and other parts it didn't make it as great. AI is a great invention, but it also distracted from the human element of the game. And I'm someone that likes to be social. I like working with other people, so it kind of helps with my loneliness that I kind of have on my own a lot. So, I met a lot of people through Run8. I wouldn't have met as many people if I hadn't played Run8 multiplayer. So that's just my 2 cents, so, yeah. So I hope you guys are all having a good day. I'm going to go struggle through part of this essay I got to do, so I will talk to you later.